Hi everyone, this is Ida with Created to Create. If you are not 18 years or older, this video content is not intended for you. Welcome to the 2020 Off the Page collaboration hosted by Tamika of Scrap the World. I know you guys know who Tamika is. Anyway, Tamika has this year-long hop going on, or collaboration going on, where she's lined up an amazing team of designers for the full year, and it's one project per month. So we're all assigned a month, and along with that, Tamika also teams up with the collaborator for that month, and she creates something. Now, we're doing giveaways. Tamika's giving away on her channel, and I'm doing a giveaway on my channel. All the rules that Tamika has, other than the ones I mentioned for myself, those apply to her channel, and then the ones that I have apply to my channel. But one of the things we do agree on is that you must be 18 years or older, you must be subscribed, and if you have your setting on private, make sure you put it public. That way we can verify if you're the lucky winner. You must like and you must subscribe to both channels, and that's about it for me. I don't have any other rules, and if, like I said, if Tamika has other ones, then you guys have to follow that. My giveaway is $25 PayPal to your PayPal account, and it is international and in the US as well. So anybody can win this, being that I don't have to ship out anything, so everybody qualifies as long as you have a PayPal account. Well, what this is that she wanted to inspire everyone to start using your machines. A lot of times we buy those expensive machines. We buy it because we see everybody has them and we want to try something, and then we get it home and then we forget about them. I'm guilty of that. I do that myself. I don't use my machines as much as I should, because that is a large investment. So this is to inspire you to use your machines and to create something that's not just flat. It's not just a card. It's not just a box. It's something that's a 3D type of project. And I hope that you guys like what I created. But I'm going to share with you some of the things that I used. Also, I'm going to link Tamika's channel in the description box. And if you've missed the first 3 months, go back and check those out. I'm not sure. I don't think the giveaways are open yet for that, but there's a lot anymore. But there is a lot of inspiration there. So what I used is I used the Stamperia House of Roses paper, and I purchased these little like hip roses as well. And I'm going to tell you where I picked those up. And I'm really impressed with this seller. She's an Etsy seller, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I ordered my products to do my project, and I'd already completed one project, but I wanted to do another one, and I asked her if she could ship out right away, because I was gonna be in a hop, and I needed my products so I could complete my project. 3 days later, my products are here, so she's amazing. And it is ASC Supplies on Etsy, and like I said, she's really fast in shipping. I got exactly what I ordered. No, no fuss, no hassle, and it was very, very fast. So anyway, this is what I picked up from her. I picked up the Stamperia House of Roses, and I'm not going to share too much of it with you. I actually ordered the 12 by 12 and the 8 by 8s. I think I only used one sheet of the 12 by 12, and the other ones were the 8 by 8. I also used the Prima Havana paper that I already had. And I'll link that in the description box as well. So that's still available as far as I know. And the paper is beautiful, guys. So I'm just going to flip through it really quick. You get these cut aparts for cards. The only downside to this is that you only get one print. They're double-sided, but it's one print of each, and you got to choose. And Stamperia makes very pretty paper, and it's kind of hard to decide what you're going to use. Then there's this one. Look at how pretty that is. And these prints were a little too big for the project that I was working on, so I didn't use them, but the paper is beautiful, and I just wanted to share that with you really quick. It's beautiful, beautiful paper. And then it has the tags over here, the cut aparts. Just beautiful. And that is it. And even these in the back, you can cut these out and make projects with them. I will share with you what I did with mine, the smaller ones, the 8x8 sheet. But I got those, and then I picked up these, and I'm only going to share these with you, but I picked them up in a variety of color. These little hip roses, they are beautiful. And they're real tiny. I mean, you can tell there's my pinky, and there's the little hip rose. So they're very, very pretty. I really like these. So I'm going to move this aside. And the digital file that I use, well, what I was going to create, because Tamika creates with her design, she teams up with her designer, and they both create. Well, when Tamika invited me, it was so funny because I already had in mind what I was going to make. Wouldn't you know, the first one up in January, Tamika creates what I was going to create. So I said, oh, I got to find something else. And then I think in February, it was Robin Pitts, Sir Chauncey Rocco Creative Designs. And I had seen another thing that I wanted to create, and then she creates it. So I thought, oh. So, you know, I decided, you know what? I'm going to do something totally different that somebody isn't doing anymore or hasn't in a while. And it's not really an easy silhouette file. I had to convert this into a silhouette file. But I'm going to share with you who the designer is. Her name is Tara. And it's there is her information. It's TaraCraftStudio.com. And I think she created this to audition to be a designer for Graphic 45. And if you go to the Graphic 45 blog, and I will link all that information in the description box, you will see what the one they created is a little different because they had it, I believe, laser cut out of wood and stuff like that. But Tara does give us the pattern for it. The only downside is when you upload it, the size is not correct. But if you guys know how to play with your machines, and this is a great way to learn how to use the machines, you'll be able to figure it out and change the sizes according to your needs. And the other thing I wanted to share with you is that when I cut my paper out of the solid colored paper, not my pattern paper, I use this as a template because a lot of the pieces I cut out of the foam board, and I needed to layer 2 of them and then the designer paper. So the template that I used to cut out those pieces were the negative from my die cuts for the pattern paper. So that's what I use. Actually, I use the solid because this is really sturdy. It's 110 pounds, so you know it'll hold the shape while I'm trying to put it onto the foam and everything. So this is the lady that created, and I'm going to put her link in the description box, and you can follow the trail to her pattern. It does say that she has an SVG filed on there as well, but it didn't work for me. Maybe it'll work for you. So let me share with you the first project that I created. So here is what I created. I created a typewriter. Again, like I said, Miss Tara did leave us the file where we can print it out and cut out the template for it. And she does have one video, and I will link that in the description box. But you do have to keep watching it to figure it out. But you can figure it out. I'm sure you can. If I did it, I'm sure you can do it too. And the pieces that I wanted, the only thing, it had like 3 pieces that I needed to create files for, and everything else was just straight cut. So you can do this with a trimmer, or if you're really good at fussy cutting, you can pull this off. But the idea was to use our machines, so I did create it into an SVG file. So here's the typewriter that I created, and this is using the Prima Havana paper, and I think it's beautiful. The one that she does on her video doesn't have the base, but the one that's on the blog, the Graphic 45 blog, does have feet and a base to it and feet, and it is absolutely beautiful, so I couldn't resist. So this is what I created. The keys right here came from a Graphic 45 paper that had, usually Graphic 45 paper always gives you like the letters, the numbers, kind of like for a typewriter or a calendar. And it's always whenever you buy their paper line and you get the sticker sheets that usually the letters and numbers are in there. So these were a little big. I did have to fussy cut to make them smaller. The letters were perfect, but the perimeter of the circle was too big. And all these are is little strips of paper that I coiled up with a quilling tool to make them into little rolls. And what you do is you scale down. The tallest ones are 1 inch, then you go down 1/4 of an inch, and then you go down another 1/4 of an inch, and the last ones are 1/4 of an inch. So it's between 1 inch and 1/4 of an inch. And it was real simple to put together, or it was for me, but like I said, I did have to look at the video for a bit. After I created my first one, well, that was easy after that. So anyway, this here is a side view of what it looks like. I hope this angle is good for you. These are Tim Holtz knobs that I use right here. And the ones I use, usually Tim Holtz, when you get his stuff, it's different ones. You don't get like 2 of the same or anything like that. So I have 2 different ones on here. And then there's the back. I did add some of his hinges back here. When you get these hinges, usually you get larger ones and smaller ones. I didn't have any large ones, but I did have the small ones. So I added these here because this does open up. And I trimmed it with pearls all the way around the base. And right here, it's just a roll of paper, but you could definitely use like a paper towel roll or something like that, because this is pretty long. I'm going to say about 6.5 inches. So you would need something at least that long. And then here is the other side, and there's the other knob right here. As you can see, they're different, but it still works. And then this little flower cluster and this little bird was gifted during the Not So Secret Santa swap that I hosted. And it was perfect for this paper because this paper has a lot of birds and butterflies and flowers in it. And then I ordered some metal charm numbers, and I cut a piece of a very thin filigree piece. It was so thin that I could cut it with scissors. So I cut it and just kind of shaped it to just to go around the perimeter of the typewriter. And then it had little holes in it, so I was able to just hang my little charms there. So I put 2020 on there because this is the year that I created it. And this little heart right here is copper heart, is a bead. And I believe that one came from, I'm going to say Michael's. And so I just added it there. And then this paper clip right here was created by Tamika. Of course, I had to use some of her things. She created some things with this paper line, embellishments, and she sent them to me. So I didn't have to do too much work to find little embellishments because she had created some for me. And for this particular project, I did want a paper clip. So I added that one there. These are tickets from the ephemera pack from the Prima Havana. And then this is one of the sheets from the 4x6 pad as well. So this is what I created. And then when you open it up, this does open up. It does have the hinges. Inside here, I created some cards to go in there. And let me show you the inside of the box. See the inside? I'm having to stand away from my camera, you guys. I hope that you're seeing everything. But it's all finished on the inside as well. And this does open up. And then I created some just little cards to go in here. So this is a great way to package embellishments or cards or note cards. The 3x3s, there's another card. And I think I shared these already as I was working on things to go in the little box. And then there's another one. You put it in the box. And I don't think they have anything in them written, so she can do any sentiment that she wants. And then there's another one. Some of them are just flat, and some of them do have dimension on them. So these all slide in here, and then you close it up, and there are all your cards. So I hope that you guys like what I created. But I couldn't stop just there. After I did the first one, it was I understood it a little bit more. Every time you do something for the first time, then, you get better ideas or more ideas, and it's easier to put together. So I'm going to share with you the other one that I created. Here is the other one that I created. And like I said, guys, when you make the first one, it's very addicting. So I decided to make a second one. And this one I made for my personal self because every time I create, I never keep any of the things that I make. So this one I really liked the typewriter, so I did create it for me. I made it a little bit bigger, and because I had converted the pattern into a silhouette file, I was able to adjust, you know, accordingly on my silhouette without too much trouble. My brother's scan and cut, I'm sorry. And so this is the second one that I created. And let me share the tags with you first. They're a little low, but I was looking for some things to go in it, so I created some tags. Here's one of the tags that I created. I kept them very simple, and they were made to go. See the 3D embossing? And that is the Tim Holtz embossing folder that my friend Sabrina gifted me. So there's one tag, and then here's another one. And these came off of the 8x8 paper pad. Look at how beautiful they are. The images are so pretty. And these are already pre-done in the paper. All I had to do was cut them out and add them to another tag base. And I have one more. And there is the other one. So I created 4 tags because I was going to put them in the drawer, but it didn't work out for me. So here is, I don't want to get too close because it's kind of large and I want you to see the whole thing. So there's the second one that I created. Now in this one, I created a bigger base. So the first one I think is about an inch and a half. The base on this one is 2 inches. And the reason I did that was because I wanted to add a drawer to the bottom, which is what you see right here is the drawer. And I will open that for you. If I was to do something different, it would be, I wouldn't have done anything different. But the feet that I was going to use for this didn't work out, so I had to improvise and use these right here by who does these? I want to say Tim Holtz. I believe that's who does these. Anyway, these are the ones I ended up using because the ones I wanted to use didn't work. So I created a drawer. And I did do a drawer front on it, and I added a Tim Holtz. So I used a lot of Tim Holtz products here. I used one of the knobs, and let me open that. And inside I added, I hope you can see that. Inside I added, I'm gonna just a tad. Inside the drawer, I added some embellishments that I made. You know what? Let me take some of these out because I want to share these with you. These are the little images that I told you that you can cut out and make embellishments. How do I hold this little embellishment? So I created little stamps. I love creating stamps and little envelopes and stuff like that. So the images were really small, were the perfect size on the 8x8 paper pad. And I created little stamp embellishments, and they already have I added the foam to them. I added the glass glitter to them. So they were real simple to make, and they were so perfect for the die that I had to cut that stamp shape. On the other one right here, this other little compartment, I added sentiment die cuts. So I have hello, I have thanks, then I have some that say friends, just a note. So there's different embellishments, die cuts in here, and I cut them out in 3 colors. I cut them out in a pink, darker pink, kind of like what's on here, maybe a tad lighter, and then I cut them out in like a moss green, and then I cut them out in a very pale pink, just so it would coordinate with all the colors that are going on in this Stamperia paper. Then I've created some little satin bows with satin ribbons. Some of it is wide, some of it's narrow, but I used all the colors, the very pale pinks and then the greens. And then in this last little compartment, I just added a variety of roses to go in there that would match. So if I was needed to send out a card, I would have all the makings right here to embellish my card or my tag or whatever I wanted to do. And then my intention was to put the tags in here, but because the drawer is so shallow, the tags were way too, by the time you stack them up, they just didn't go well in there. So I decided to do something different with you know, add something different and just do the tags on the side. So I'm going to close this up. And then the paper had a lot of gray in it, or it has a lot of gray in it. And so I decided to do the little little tubes in a gray color paper. I could have done them in the paper line, but I felt like I didn't want to waste a sheet of the Stamperia paper to just coil them up and you couldn't hardly see anything. So I used gray. And let me turn on the top here, and I'm going to bring it in a little bit. On the top here, I added a variety of flowers. Here are those little hip roses that I shared with you that I bought from her. And then this little tin watering can, I had it in my stash. I probably had that for years because I like to collect little things. And I just put them away. I don't throw anything away, just in case. And I had these little gardening tools, so I added them there because this is House of Roses. And of course, if you have a rose garden, you got to tend to it. So it was great because I wanted to add a chain to it. But with the handle on the watering can, I was able to attach the chain there. And then I added these butterflies. These are from Renee Bouquets, and she's also on Etsy as well. And on the top piece here, this is one of the cut-aparts that has the it's one of the cut-apart sheets. And so I was able to back it up with 110-pound cardstock, and then I added some metal corners on either side. I added another butterfly, and I did add stickles on that piece there. I trimmed everything with pearls all the way around, the front and the back, all the way around. It's very, very, very pretty. And I'm going to turn it this way. Right on this side, here's the chain that I added, and this is something that I had in my stash. And I've got a key way up here in the front. And then here is a clock that I've had for a while, and I did add one of the small images with glossy accents. I hope you can see that. And then over here I have a little bird cage, and I didn't have like a postage stamp charm or a letter charm to put on there. I would have liked to have had something like that to put on there, but I didn't. And then I added these are actually drawer pulls, and I believe they are Tim Holtz as well. I think they're by Ranger. And with the ring that's on the lion head, I was able to attach the chain on the ring, and it worked perfectly. So let me move this on to turn it to the back. There's what the back looks like. I kept it very simple. Let me see. Let me bring it down a little. I kept it very simple in the back. I did have a little, sorry guys. I had a little gate here, and I didn't, a little fence, picket fence, because there is a picket fence in the paper, but I really wasn't liking the way it was looking, so I removed it. But I do have this little brick entrance right here, arch, and then little pieces here. This is the paper line, and then I just got another scraps from the paper that I had already torn and just kind of ripped it to make it look like torn wallpaper on there. The tube up here that you see right here, this is also a Tim Holtz product, but he doesn't sell the tubes. This tube is the one that comes with the parchment or decoupage paper that Tim Holtz has, that comes in the plastic roll. And that's what I did to create this piece on top. But you could definitely use like a napkin, a paper towel roll or something. So here's the other side. Now, on this one, my mind was going after the first one. So I wanted to make a compartment where I could add a pen. Let's say I was gifting this to somebody and I wanted to gift them a green glitter pen or a pink or a gold, whatever color I decided to do. I wanted to have somewhere to put it in. It didn't fit in the drawer, and it didn't, if I put it up on top, it was going to get lost at the bottom. So I created this where you can pull out the stopper and you can actually add a pen in there. So, and the paper is just rolled in there. The paper's not even glued. I just rolled it up and tucked it in there. So this goes right back on, and that's all that is. So let me turn it to the front. Hopefully So inside, this is also houses cards, so that's why I added all the embellishments on the bottom. The only difference on this one, I didn't do hinges because this was bigger than the first one, and the hinges that I had were too small. So this one I added magnets to the top, and it comes off, and it just comes right off. And then there's the inside. I kept it all in a very, very pale pink because that's what's on the inside here. And I don't know if you can see. Let me see if I can give you an angle here. The inside right here is embossed with that embossing folder, that 3D embossing rose folder that my friend Sabrina gifted me. So all I added to in the back part here is I added some just blank card bases. I didn't put any envelopes in here because usually we like to do dimension. Then I did I cut apart a bunch of the cut aparts and just paper clipped them with a butterfly. So I did the smaller ones and the larger ones. I actually ordered an extra sheet of the larger ones because I wanted to have them for cards. So I just tucked everything in here, and here are the makings for the cards. You would get your bases and your tag card fronts from there, and then your embellishments would be right here in the drawer. And you have the die cuts, you have flowers, you have everything you need to create a finished card. And then right in here over the space bar, I don't know if you can see that, I added a Tim Holtz little metal piece that says, "Reality has limits, imagination is boundless." So the other one has a different one as well. But what I like about this is I can put it back up here, and the magnets will draw the lid to be right in place where it needs to be. I don't have to worry. If I were shipping this somewhere, I wouldn't have to worry because I could take it off and put it in a separate box so it doesn't get damaged, and then the base in a separate box. Anyway, guys, this is what I created. I hope that you like what I created. I hope this inspires you to take out your machines, and if there's something you really, really like, it's worth the effort converting it into an SVG file, because then after you do it once, you can get any size that you want. Again, make sure to check out Tamika, who is Scrap the World, here on YouTube, and see what she created, and make sure to follow all the rules. That way you're eligible for the giveaway. As for me, I don't have very many rules. Just like, subscribe, and comment. That's it. And you must be 18 years or older. You must be a visible subscriber. And I'm going to close the giveaway on the 11th, and I'm going to announce it on April 12th. Thank you so much for watching. I hope everyone is having a great day, and God bless. Bye.